The Los Angeles Rams will be hosting the Cincinnati Bengals at home in Super Bowl 56. The Rams will be representing the NFC after edging out a win against their rivals from up north, the San Francisco 49ers, on Sunday.
Los Angeles came into the season with a Super Bowl or bust mentality after trading for veteran quarterback Matthew Stafford. They went on to make several more key signings during the season, including Odell Beckham Jr. and Von Miller. With Sunday's win, the Rams are the second team to play for the Lombardi Trophy at home. And over in the AFC, the Bengals took down Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs for a chance to win the organization's first ever Super Bowl. That would be ever franchise history, people.
Cincinnati's young offense overcame an 18-point deficit to tie the game at 21 in the third quarter. The Bengals and Chiefs exchanged a pair of field goals, ending regulation tied at 24. The Bengals defense came up with a huge interception in overtime, giving the offense the chance to finish the game. Rookie kicker Evan McPherson sealed the win with a game-winning field goal for the second consecutive week, sending Cincinnati to Los Angeles to face the Rams for a shot at the Super Bowl.
And speaking of the Super Bowl, Scott Pioli knows exactly what it takes to win a Super Bowl. He is a 3-time Super Bowl champion and a 5-time NFL Executive of the Year. He also has to take our calls when we call because he works with us at CBS Sports and is an NFL Network front office analyst. Scott, thank you for joining us. No one knows more than you on this subject. The AFC and NFC championship games, the teams playing in them were not the ones that a lot of people picked going into the season. So why do you think the Rams and the Bengals were so successful and are going to end up in the Super Bowl on February 14th?
Tony, there's a couple things at work here. This is the brilliant design and business model of the NFL that includes revenue sharing between teams, but also has a player acquisition model that rewards teams that are not very strong. And what that means is teams with bad records get higher picks and better access to the best players coming out. And what that does is gives a team like the Bengals that has had only 6 wins over the previous 2 seasons to build through the draft by having higher draft picks. So the Bengals are a team that built conservatively with youth. Then on the flip side, Tony, as you mentioned, the Rams went all in. That's how they do it. They're aggressive. They've given up their last 7 first-round picks and spent tons of financial capital as well to build this football team. So now we've got 2 teams that were number 4 seeds that are playing in the Super Bowl. We've got major market versus small market, Hollywood versus middle America. There's so many things that are fun about this upcoming Super Bowl that we'll be watching, and how they were built is just as fun.
Scott, I have to admit I'm happy to see the Bengals there because, you know, the Bills were beat by the Kansas City Chiefs, and, you know, hey, what goes around comes around. But in all fairness, you mentioned, you know, big market, small market. What are we expecting to actually see? What's your prediction when you look at these 2 teams coming together for Super Bowl 56?
Well, one of the things I expect to see is Joe Burrow being under as much duress as he's been under this season. You know, last year as a rookie, unfortunately, he was the most sacked quarterback through 9 games and got hurt. Season ended, so he lost most of his rookie season. This year, he sacked a league-high 51 times. Last week against Tennessee, he was sacked 9 times in that game alone. But for some reason, the Bengals front, their offensive line came together and did a really good job. Now the Rams have one of the best pass rushes in the NFL. So this is going to be a very interesting matchup between 2 terrific football teams. I'm expecting to see a game that's been much like the games we've seen, which is a closely fought and last-minute game. Truthfully, that's what I'm expecting to see. I mean, last week in the 4 games that we had in the divisional championship, we had 4 games go down to the very last play. Yesterday, there were 2 games, and we had 1 game go down to the last play, and the other one separated by only 3 points. So I'm expecting to see more great football in the Super Bowl.
Scott, another interesting matchup is the one between Tom Brady and Father Time. He is, I think, 43, maybe 44 years old. I don't even know if there are rumors or not. He might retire. He might not. His agent is saying no one will speak on the subject accurately except for Tom Brady. You have been in contact with Tom Brady, so anything you can share about whether he'll be playing next season?
Well, Tony, I've known Tom, obviously was there when we drafted him in 2000, so I've known him quite a long time. And those of us closest, very close to him, didn't know and don't know what he's doing. I did text him on Saturday when I read the news and thought, like everyone else, that the report was true, and it may be true. What I can report is the fact that I did get a text back from Tom, and it was nothing more than a big red heart saying, "Thank you, I love you," and that was it.
All right.
I like that. Keep it just
he loves the
cool
game.
and
Yeah,
lovely.
He does love the game. And by the way, Jerika is very happy that the Bengals beat the Chiefs because the Chiefs beat the Bills.
Yep.
But you are also from Ohio, so you should be rooting.
We talked about this
for the Bengals
on a different show.
But you root for the Bills even though you're from Ohio, which is weird.
Here's how it's all connected. I lived in Columbus as a child.
Okay.
Grew up in Cleveland. My sister lives in Cincinnati. Boom.
There you go. So you're rooting for the Bengals. As long as you're rooting.
Yes, it all makes sense in my mind.
It's crazy how we end up rooting against teams when we should just be rooting for people. But I've been there, Jerika. I can feel what you're feeling.
Thank you. Scott Pioli, always a pleasure. Great to see you.
Thank you.